Hey, homies, it's your honest homegirl, Kaisha Anique, and I've been gone for a very, 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 very long time. To my day ones, y'all would have noticed that I was led to repost certain videos from probably like 2 years ago, because some of you, some of my collective, including myself, was refusing to heal, or spirit told you to take a break from healing and you didn't listen. Spirit wanted you to just be in the present moment, and you kept on distracting yourselves with all the good spiritual things. But you have to have a balance between the physical and the spiritual. And as you can see, my two chains are like tied up and entangled, and it's two different chains. And you have to have a balance between spiritual and physical, or you will spiritually burn yourself out and possibly put yourself in a spiritual psychosis, okay? Where every little thing has to be spiritual, every little thing has to be this, and it means that, and it really fucking don't. What y'all fail to realize is it's okay to be spiritual. It's okay to live in the present moment in the physical realms and experience, the human experience, because that's what we're supposed to do, right? For the past, I want to say 6.5 years, I dedicated myself to taking care of family. I volunteered, because I'm pretty sure just me and my aunt pretty much have been taking on the responsibility of taking care of family, and we both took on the responsibility of taking care of a great aunt of ours who unfortunately passed away. She lived an amazing life up until 101. That lady was still driving until she was 96. She gave me a hissy fit and was pissed off. We had to take that license away from her, but it was for her safety and the safety of others. We also took care of our cousin Dolores, who passed away a year prior to my aunt, and they both suffered from dementia. It wasn't easy. Okay, I lost myself for a little while. But there was a lesson within it. I was led to relocate. Spirit, if y'all listen to my podcast from years ago, 2020, 2021, 22, 23, I was doing podcasts and Homegirl Radio. And if you want to listen to it, it's in the link in my bio on my link tree. But hearing back on those stories and stuff, I was explaining about how I was led to drop everything. Okay, right before, happened in 2020, I kept getting these reoccurring dreams to leave New York, leave New York, leave New York, because that's where I'm from, Long Island, New York. And my ego would not let me. I'm like, no. I had told God, I said, if you really want me to leave, I need to have food, shelter, steady income, transportation, all the necessities to leave. I need to have that and not have to worry about it 2 weeks later. My aunt called me, was, expressing, how stressful it was trying to find a private healthcare worker to take care of our family members in North Carolina. And that was my answer. People thought I was crazy. I shut down my daycare. I relocated. Not even a few months later, you know what happened in 2020. And if I wouldn't have left, I would have been out of a business. I would have been out of income. I would have been out of a lot. So with that lesson, that was the first lesson of me having to learn to listen to spirit. When God puts something on your spirit, on your heart to do something, you need to do it. Scared, not knowing everything, not knowing if it's going to work out type of energy. But you have to realize that you are protected, always. And so I relocated. And that was an experience in itself of me letting go of my ego, me letting go of my pride, me putting things to the side and going you know, and it was an answered prayer too, because I was going down, you know, memory lane, and I was asking more about my ancestors and where we came from, and, you know, wanting to get to know all the elders in my family, and that was the perfect opportunity. So that was a answered prayer in itself. So I went down, got to know them, trial basis for 2 weeks when my aunt went on vacation, and I loved it. I loved how I felt there. It felt like home, you know, and I relocated, took care of my cousin first, you know, Dolores. That was my ace boon coon right there. That woman had taught me a lot about myself. I've always been in early childhood education, and it's totally different taking care of children and then taking care of adults that are literally reverting back into a child state mindset, you know. And she taught me so much patience. She taught me to love myself more, because you got to remember, they were in their 90s and in their 80s. Me wearing cutoff shorts and a tank top because it's hot outside was unacceptable, you know. I've spoken about how she would pop my thigh every time I walked past her in some cutoff shorts. And she would never leave the house in leggings. Like, she would never leave the house without her hair done. She would never walk outside with a scarf on. Her and my aunt both. And that was something too my father never allowed me to do. This scarf thing is only in the house. It's not happening outside. They were very big on how you presented yourself, because before words even came out your mouth, people see you first, okay? And people are going to treat you how they see you, you know? And if you want respect, you have to present that, you know? Yes, I believe you can wear what you want to wear, do what you want to do, and nobody should sit there and hurt, harm, or injure you or call you anything out of your name. But there is still a presence being shown, okay? What you exude out is what you're going to attract, and that's just facts, okay? If I'm sitting here not in these pajamas, but I'm over here in a lingerie top, guess who's going to be paying attention to this video? They're not going to be paying attention to the words coming out of my mouth. They're going to be paying attention to what I have on, right? So anyway, so they were very big on that. Very old school, very classy. I'm talking still setting the table and using real silverware, okay, and setting the table right. Going to church every Sunday. And even with me being a spiritual person and not a religious person, it was still part of my job description to take them to these activities, because they were church going folks. And it opened my eyes to realizing that whether you're spiritual, whether you're religious, we have no need to sit there and judge each other. We all have our own beliefs. When you grow up in a certain family, in a certain environment, in certain circumstances, you're going to believe whatever is around you, okay? And there's no wrong way to get into God. There's just some people are going to go through more challenging lessons in life for them to find source, and then for us, others, is going to be easier. For some of us, me being an Aquarius and being very rebellious by nature, it's just a characteristic trait of an Aquarius, you know. We're going to go against the grain. And I've, you know, all my life, honestly, I've dealt with spiritual family members and religious family members. So there has always been a balance in between the two, and just taking parts of it that resonate with me. Am I going to take the whole entire thing? No. And run with it? No. But what resonates with me, and I've learned that too, from them. And even with certain things that they did, it was a spiritual thing. It was spiritual based. It wasn't religious based. They definitely it's kind of hard still talking about them, because when you've had to take care of someone, and you won't understand until you've dealt with hospice care, and then it being a family member, that is not easy. But I remind myself every day of all the good things that they taught me. I always asked on, you know, having positive influences in my life, especially women. especially women, because I grew up without my mom. My mom, for most of y'all that listen to my podcast, know that my mom was murdered when I was 1. And I've had to experience, when I say every type of female there could be, every type of archetype of female that could be in this world, I've experienced them. And I've learned what to do and what not to do dealing with these women. And I guess it was my time to learn some old school traditions, you know. And my aunt Marie, beautiful 4'11", short little petite lady, feisty, and she was a Virgo. And when you want to get your life together, God's gonna send you a Virgo, okay? Because they are very good. Not just Virgo suns, Virgo Marses, Virgo Venuses, anybody with strong Virgo placements, that Virgo energy, they're very analytical, and they're very good they're great, they're excellent at seeing everything that's in between the cracks that is causing the mishaps, the chaos, and the confusion in your life, and they reflect it to you, right? So I also learned how much I was in my masculine energy, being around them. You know, I was the Mrs. Fix-It. I was moving the dryer. Like, they weren't doing those things. They was like, we're going to call somebody. We're going to call so-and-so. They were calling a man to do it, okay? They were not getting their hands dirty like that. Would they wash dishes? Cool. Would they clean the kitchen? Yeah. Do laundry? Okay, cool. Whatever the case may be. Socialite, entertain people, have dinners and stuff. Right. Beautify themselves. Take their time. Oh my gosh, that was one of the biggest lessons I learned with them over the past 6.5 years, was taking my time. My aunt used to be like, do you ever sit down? You know, but I was Mrs. Fix-It. I was always jumping up, ready to do things. And even with my Aunt Desiree, who I worked with to take care of the two of them, took her time more, but still got the job done. That's one thing. Them ladies still got the job done no matter what. Even with dementia, they still did what they had to do for themselves. I'm sorry, I'm saying a lot. I gotta get that out of my system. But I learned to relax. They taught me how to relax. They taught me that everything, especially my Aunt Marie, everything doesn't need a response. That woman would look you dead in your face and not say nothing. I'm saying nothing, okay? Like, she taught me that everything doesn't need to have a reaction to it. No matter how pissed off you are, no matter how disrespected you may feel. She taught me that a lot. When you wanted a physical example of projection, she showed me that, you know, and she showed me how to respond to that. Because in her eyes, being ladylike, you're not going to get her out of character. You're not going to get her out of pocket. She's not going to talk bad about you. She's not going to sit there and, you know, make a scene, okay? She's going to just sit there and let you say whatever you got to say. She's going to analyze that, and she's just going to take that back to her room. And then she's going to analyze it some more and figure out how she's going to react to that. She's not reacting in the moment. That's not happening. And she taught me that if you want to be a wife, you know, there's just certain things that change within you, and you have to learn to communicate. You have to learn how to compromise. You know, you have to learn how to, you know, connect with someone on a different level. This woman has taught me what unconditional love looks like, because even though she could be mad at you, even though she could have disappointed you, like, no matter what was going on, there was still love there, and you still felt being taken care of, you know. And even vice versa, but she would, it ain't easy taking care of someone with dementia, and they telling you, you know, who are you still wet behind the ears, you can't be telling me what to do, you know. And it's understandable, because you're going to go through grieving phases as you keep healing, as you keep evolving, as the years go by. And damn, I miss them so much. And it's like, when you have unconditional love for yourself, unconditional love for other people, it makes your life so much easier, because we judge each other so much, and that's not what we're here for. And the thing is, we judge people as if we never experienced those things, or as if that could never happen to us, you know. And taking care of 2 of my family members who had dementia, it's like, that could easily be me one day. That could easily be someone else in my family one day. And it's so hard watching people that accomplish so much in life that they don't even remember it. I remember there were times where Dolores would knock on my door, and my bedroom door, and be like, "Oh, are the ladies going out tonight?" And it's in the middle of the night. It's like 2:00 in the morning, because they have no sense of time, right? And I'm like, yeah, the only place we going is Club Bed D. That's the only club we going to. But in her mind, she thought she was in college. She thought that she was in a dormitory where the girls was about to go out tonight. You know, there were times where things of the truth, past things that they've shared with me, that they probably never shared with anybody else. And they would go through so many different changes in their life. And that experience alone taught me that our time here on this earth is precious. We don't have time to stay mad and argue and fight and belittle one another. It opened my eyes to who I was, and how much I've evolved, and how much I changed, and how much anger I was still holding on to from things that happened to me in my past. And I just want all of you guys to know that no matter what you go through, you ain't the only person going through it. No matter how many times people have tried to tell you who you are, that's not who you are, okay? Healing is fun sometimes, and sometimes it's not. Michael Jackson said it best with that song, with the man in the mirror. You know, you have to start with that person. You want to judge somebody, judge that person. You want to change somebody, change that person. You want to heal something and fix something, fix and heal that person. Because once you go within and you fix what's going on within, your whole life changes. I could have looked at that as the worst experience in my life, and instead I looked at that as one of the best experiences of my life. It allowed me to step into another level of healing, another level of self-awareness, okay? And being selfless. I never had to be selfless before until I took care of them. And I thank them so much for coming into my life and blessing me with those lessons, and their warmth and their care and their love, and just them being who they were and being honest with who they were. That's when you really don't give a fuck no more, when you get older. That people think they don't give a fuck. It's not until you get older and you've lived a life and you've experienced so much. So take care of your elders, be there for them, love them, cherish them, because they are precious cargo. So enough crying, because you know it's Aquarius. But then again, I'm an Aquarius with a Cancer degree. So if y'all act like Cancer, if y'all act like Aquarius don't have feelings, we have feelings. We just don't tap into those emotions until everything has made sense to us. And then once things make sense to us, that's when the emotions come. Sometimes our emotions are not even verbal. Our emotions are frustration. Our emotions are us being agitated. Our emotions are us being silly. Our emotions are, they're shown more than they're talked about. And I think that's the misconception with us Aquarius placements, where they think that because we may not say a lot, is the thing is, we have to process these things. We have to make it make sense in our brain, and then if it's necessary to have some type of reaction, then we will have that reaction. Now, we all have our good and bad side, and there are times where Aquarius will overreact, and that's because we didn't have time. We didn't have time to get in our own feelings, in our own environment, in our own emotions. And that is something that people that deal with Aquarius, you need to know. We need our space, because if we don't have our space, that's when we overreact. And then it's like, we got to look at ourselves and be like, damn, why did we do that? But anyway, I meant to post those 2 videos that I just did. I went on a tangent. That was something that I was just holding in. But the reason why I wanted to make a video in the first place was to remind you guys that your spiritual journey is going to differ every day, every month, every year. You're not going to heal all at once. Every person, every place, everything that you encounter on a daily basis will always be part of your spiritual journey, but don't disconnect yourself from the physical world. I've had to deal with life and death all my life. Okay. I've never fully understood why until I got more into, my natal chart, and how I have this huge Sagittarius stellium in my 8th house. And while I was relocated to North Carolina and taking care of my aunt and my cousin, I had an epiphany that was some death in life, rebirth, was something that I will always deal with. And then having Saturn in that 8th house placement too. So there's a lot of lessons that I'm going to learn. So the epiphany that I had is the fact that growing up, I wanted to be a fashion designer growing up. Those dreams were cut short due to someone else's influence. So my second passion was caring. I loved people. I loved caring for people. And I started nursing school. I had became a CNA in 11th grade. I worked in hospice care before, and I was doing clinical hours and stuff. And I couldn't do it. And I'll never forget one day when we were doing clinicals, I broke down crying because, and at the time I didn't know I could tap into people's energies and feel how people felt. And I guess that's why I'm such a great caregiver, because I can literally feel the people's aches and pains and frustrations within them. And that's how I'm able to just know what needs to be done. Like my aunt and cousin never understood how I knew when their backs would ache, things like that, etc., etc. But when I first got into hospice care, that I couldn't take it. I said there has to be another route. So I went into early childhood education, and that's where my expertise really is, because for over 20 years, that's what I did, until God rerouted me back to hospice care. I was trying to avoid death in so many ways. And that was due to and linked to my experience of losing my mom at an early age, and then my grandma's at an early age, and my great grandma's right after. Like, I lost too many women in my life. I dealt with death for too long in my life. And then these past years, I've learned to accept it. I've learned to understand that it is an honor to take care of your family. It is an honor to be the one to close their eyes and hold their hand and let them know that they're not alone. It's an honor to be there when children are being born into your family and welcoming them with love. It's just so funny how it just was a full circle of being with children and infants, and then dealing with the seniors and death, and how the cycle, this is why now I look at death differently. I look at aging differently. And I watched my Aunt Marie. One thing about her, that lady would fast. That doctor would say something's wrong with her, she would fast in a heartbeat. You looked on her bookshelf, this lady had college textbooks on health. Like, she just went to the college bookstore just to get some updated information. Like, she was always doing something holistic. This lady used to have like this glass jar with soap, like garlic cloves, and I don't know if it was olive oil or honey. It was one of them. And she'd take that every day, and I used to be like, I ain't taking that. But that woman taught me that what you put in your body is how your body's going to react and how healthy you'll be. And if you're blessed to live a long life, because everybody's not meant to live long. She just happened to be one of them and lived to 101. God bless her. She would do those things, you know. She would, her and Dolores both, they took very good care of themselves. Dolores would walk. She was also a runner, but because when that sundown syndrome hit, yeah, she knew how to take off. But long story short, everything makes sense eventually. I think the most important thing is for you guys to slow down. Spirit has had me sitting on my behind since I had to bury my aunt. I tried distracting myself, and I only injured myself. My back would hurt more, my ankle would hurt more, like something, my shoulder, like something would always be hurt. When you get when your body is hurting, it's because it needs rest. I was working 7 days a week, 24 hours a day for a few years. You know, I did get a break eventually. God blessed us with help and stuff like that. But God wanted me to take a break. God wanted me to get back to me. And even with was it Uranus and Taurus that just happened, still happening, hopefully it's gone, because unexpected weight gain. Yeah, you gonna see me. I just brought a walking pad, one of them little mini treadmill things, because your girl is getting back to her. Drinking my bone broth with the collagen, taking my peptides and all of that. It's been a very long time, 6.5 years of taking care of other people. I guess I paid some karmic debt, because maybe in a past life they took care of me, and it was my turn to take care of them. And I looked at that too. I saw that as something that was eye-opening, as well as thinking about how, you know, I could have been the aunt in a past life, and they were my nieces in a past life, taking care of me, and now, you know, I did it for them, and I'm grateful. I was sad and I was depressed for a couple of months from losing them, because being one of the people in a family that takes care of everybody, and then you have nobody else to take care of but yourself, it's hard. I don't know how to take care of myself. I've always taken care of everybody else. So I guess that's my new journey now. and hopefully you see it. All right, I'm back healing homies on this little walking pad. But anyway, long story short, take your time during this healing process. Take your time on this journey. Rest. Okay, it's very important that you rest. You are no good when you are not taking care of yourself. So for 6.5 years, I took care of everybody else. And Spirit allowed me to do that because my ego still wanted security, stability, especially with Taurus placements. Of course I want that. And that allowed me to stay in my South Node energy of Libra in the 6th house. My daily activities, taking care of everybody. And my Aries North Node is to take care of self, get to learn self, understand self. And I had to go through a hard lesson of having to lose some more people in my life. And it all, not all of it, but most of it pertained to health. So to all my Aries North Nodes, take care of yourselves. Do what's best for you. Follow your intuition. That gut instinct, of course, always. You know when you're supposed to do something. You feel it. And the minute you feel it, you act upon it. Because if not, you're going to learn a hard-ass lesson. Okay? There's a balance. Okay? Where you can take care of others, but you need to take care of yourself first. Don't take care of nobody before yourself. Including your baby, including your husband, including your wife, including whoever. Because you are no good to them when you ain't taking care of yourself. And that was another lesson that I had to learn with taking care of 2 other people. Okay? It was not easy. I was overwhelmed. I was frustrated. But over time, I got accustomed to making sure I woke up early, went to bed early, ate, healthier foods so that I could have the stamina, the energy to take care of them. How am I have the strength to pick somebody up and I can't even take care of myself? So I had to learn how to do that. I had to learn how to put myself first. So that lesson in itself, those 6.5 years taught me how to, well, really not how to, but more so the importance of taking care of myself. So you will be seeing more of me sooner than later, slowly but surely. I feel like a lot of my Aquariuses, Leos, Tauruses, Scorpios too, I feel like a lot of those placements have gone through some similar situations and are finally now relieved to realize, well, the ones that did the work are realizing that it's time for change. You can't wait on nobody else to do the change, and you don't have to do the change. I'm pretty sure a lot of my other signs, I feel like, because we all have all the zodiac signs in our natal chart. It's just how it's placed, right? Sometimes it's an empty house. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's aspecting something. I don't know. Maybe it's in retrograde. But I feel for the collective, it's a time to take our time. It's a time to sit back and see what's right in front of us. Because what is being reflected back to us is what's been going on within us the past couple of years. And like I said, I'm having a hard time resting. Even though I was taught to rest, that ego, that survival mode instincts kind of creeps back up in your energy because you're scared to do something new. That always happens when you're ready to do something new. And like I said, Spirit has forced me to stay home, work less. Spirit has shown me that my bills will still get paid no matter what. Not to go rushing and running out, doing things like I used to do. Because one thing about me, I'm a workaholic, baby. I will work. I will work, 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 work. I will distract myself with work, 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 work. And that's not always good. It's good for your pockets, but it's not good for your spirit. It's not good for your soul. It's not good for your body. So take your time, guys. Go back out in nature. Get back to those morning rituals. Spirit even had it on my heart for me to sit there and talk to you guys more on this internet. Y'all know Aquariuses don't like these people. They don't like people. But Spirit's like, nope, you got to get back out there. You got to start continuing to tell your story. Somebody else is out there listening, needing encouragement. So to my fellow Aquariuses, the humans need you again. So we got to pat back out there. We got to show our faces again. We got to start talking to people again. We have to start smiling again, dancing again, loving ourselves again, loving people again, loving our pets again. And it is what it is. But I love you guys. I'm going to get this 30-minute walk in. I'm about to start maybe light jogging. I ain't running. But I love y'all. And I will see y'all later. And one more thing. Another thing that I learned throughout those 6.5 years of taking care of family, I learned how to regulate my nervous system. And with me being able to regulate my nervous system, actually, family presented me an opportunity to regulate my nervous system. Everybody that knows, if you've lived in New York and you've moved out of New York and you've moved to the Carolinas or somewhere south or west, life, it goes at a slower pace. Okay, we are literally living like crazy people in New York City, in Long Island, in New York, period, right? And when I relocated, I had to learn to slow down. I did not like it, but it allowed me to learn how to regulate my nervous system. I was more calm. I didn't react as fastly as I would have if I was in New York. The energy around me was calm. There was no chaos and confusion and fast cars and honking horns until everybody named Mama wanted to move down here to the Carolinas now. And now I'm ready to leave and go somewhere probably Midwest. I don't know. But we're out of this country. But anyway, with me being able to regulate my nervous system with somatic exercises, with me grounding at the pond in the backyard, me meditating, me dancing. Okay, a lot of you guys, your meditation is in dance. It's not even in you sitting down and how long you could stay still. Okay, dancing was a big thing for me, especially in my room. And that's probably why my cousin Dolores probably thought there was a club going on a couple of times, and it just was the wrong night, because on a good night she probably would have been in there dancing with me. But dancing allowed me to regulate my nervous system as well. And the biggest thing that I learned from regulating my nervous system over these past 6.5 years was me learning how to, one, manage my money, allow my money to grow, how I utilized my money, how I didn't do so much emotional spending. Because when your nervous system is all over the place, the first thing you're going to do, especially with a heavy Taurus placement, guess where we going? We going to the store. Sagittarius, Pisces, yeah, we going to the store. Yeah, we're going to the store. We're going to the store, either to get some good food, get some clothes, something that makes us feel good, right? Perfumes, you name it. Any type of beauty product, you name it. We're going to the store. The store might even just be Amazon in a click of a button, and that's even worse. Okay? And I noticed I changed because when I had to go help take care of someone else, I noticed that they were doing the same exact things that I was doing. They were going through exactly what I had just gone through, which was taking care of a family member, okay? Had dementia. You're stuck in the house. You don't have no freedom like that. You feel like you are not a part of the world anymore. You lose connections. You crave for communication. So anybody you speak to, you'll speak to anybody and talk their ears off. And that was me. And then when I saw it in someone else, I realized too that God allowed me to deal with that experience so I could help other people that are dealing with that experience as well, and teach them ways to make their life easier and to cope and manage dealing with having to take care of a family member, because you can get in the trap of emotionally spending because you have nothing else to do. And I'm gonna tell you right now, people with dementia, Alzheimer's and stuff, sometimes they get in a phase of not, it seems like they're unbothered, it seems like they don't care, but really that's something that they can't help. It's almost like as if you're talking to a brick wall sometimes. It's like your presence is never needed. It's needed, but it seems like it's never needed, but that's not really the case. They can't help that, because on a good day, they will be they will socialize, they will talk to you. But it was more so, again, every time I'm led to be in a situation, I'm automatically looking for the lessons. I'm automatically looking for what I need to be more self-aware of. Not anymore, I don't do this anymore. I don't look at other people as the problem anymore. I'm looking at it as, what am I doing? What am I, taking part in? What am I contributing to in this situation? And what can I do to change what I need to change? I can't change other people. I can only change drawers, depends, and pads, and tampons, and panties. Okay? That's the only thing I can change. And myself. But, I've learned so much. It's hard to even really pinpoint exactly everything that I learned in such a short period of time right at this moment, because my mind sometimes can go all over the place when I'm trying to explain things. That's what happens when you talk to an air sign. We will have 101 conversations in one conversation, and finally we end up at the end of what we were trying to tell you from the beginning. But so yeah, take care of yourselves, guys. That's the message, honestly. Take care of yourself, take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your children. Mainly take care of yourself so that you can take care of others, because I have also witnessed how the healthcare field can be, and I'm gonna say that there's some people that don't belong in healthcare. There are very few of us, and including my cousin Yin Yin. She's a great mother and a great caregiver, and everybody's not built for it. Okay, some of y'all are out there in it because it's good money. I can say privately it's good money. I don't know about in somebody else's establishment. That's probably why y'all be acting the way y'all be acting and not taking care of people's family members like you are supposed to. And that was another eye-opener, because eventually we did have to put one of my cousins in a nursing home, but we made sure it was only like 5 to 7. It was like 7 minutes away from the house, and I was up there every day, still bathing her, still doing her hair, still cleaning her. Okay, did I have to get on a worker? Yes, I did. And tell them about themselves, because what you're not about to do is be sitting there watching my cousin's TV that she's paying for, and you not cleaning and taking care of her like you're supposed to. Mind you, they're paying out of pocket for this. This ain't no government assistance. Okay. But yeah, fortunately for me, I had some excellent caregivers that have helped me take care of my family members, and I'm appreciative of them. Y'all know who y'all are. I love you guys if you are watching. Because it takes a special person to do that. Everybody's not meant to do it, but if you have been called to help take care of family in some way, shape, or form, open your eyes to the bigger picture, because there's always a lesson and a blessing inside of that. Okay, there's something within you that God is trying to show you through that experience. And keep your head up, stay strong, and remember, they're precious cargo and so are you. So the overall message again is take care of yourselves, take care of your family. That's most important. All the other stuff, I done been there, done that. Only thing left for me to experience is actual life. That's it. Get to experience myself, put myself first, and somebody else putting me first. Yeah, I'm in the phase of being taken care of now. Okay, and it's a struggle and a fight because I be wanting to do everything, but that's my lesson now. And for some of you, if you are part of my collective, it's for you too. Allowing other people to help you and take care of you. And it's okay to ask for help when you need it.